September 2016, I had the opportunity to be part of a group of Western University students participating in a community-based field course on Walpole Island First Nation, a community that borders Canada and the United States in southwestern Ontario. As students, we came from a variety of backgrounds, disciplines, and interests, but most importantly, each of us knew the importance of meeting with community members as part of our learning and the embodied learning that comes from being on the land. For myself, I was particularly interested in how and where colonial and traditional knowledge systems intersect as it relates to our relationship as people of all nations with the land that we live on. An important aspect that I learned throughout the process was the role of the ones who took care of this land before we were here. What was their relationship with the land? Our ancestors understood that if we took care of our relationship with the land, then she too would take care of us. Is this teaching any different today? I feel that the most important outcome of field schools like these is the learning that happens with the ability to move through a space as part of your learning. Of course, there are different methods to teaching and instruction, but as Indigenous people to Turtle Island, our teachings are rooted in the process of sitting with our original teacher, creation. And if creation is a reflection of Creator, then we are learning on levels that transcend academic or mental intelligence, being that of spiritual knowledge embodied by every being on Earth, be it plant, animal, or resource. But of course, the big question is, where do we even begin? Most of us who grew up learning in a colonial system have an estranged relationship with the land. But it's important to always remember that we all have a role in taking care of creation. Part of this responsibility is to learn, but fortunately for us, we have elders who have maintained relationships with the land and are able to share their teachings. Our elders are one of our most valuable resources as nations, and we should always have them in mind when we're asking big questions, like how do we take care of the land for future generations today? But before I get into this further, I have to start from the beginning by introducing the land. Walpole Island is an unceded territory and is inhabited by the Ojibwe, Potawatomi, and Odawa peoples of this territory. Walpole also goes by a name that is rooted in the Anishinaabe language, that of Bkejwanong, meaning where the water divides. This territory has a distinct relationship with the water, and its ecosystem is one of the most ecologically diverse in Canada, containing coastal waterways, wetland, tallgrass prairies, oak savannas, and Carolinian forests, and is part of one of the largest freshwater deltas in the world. Elders and community members have significant knowledge about the land, and as a student, I'm very interested in how traditional knowledge systems understand the current state of environmental concern as it relates to stewardship and biodiversity.
The front end of the island here got most of the roads fixed up, paved and all that, and traffic was heavy over here, so the snakes were pretty well kept alive back there up here. Like back went to anybody seen a snake, they always got a club and bang, got rid of them, huh? But they didn't know it would come up to this day where they would be endangered, huh? They kill so many chemicals and stuff like that being used now. We don't even see any of those brown snakes no more. They're just gone.
In nature, we find that things like traditional medicines are growing alongside other plants and medicines. We would be ignorant to think that this was a coincidence. Everything is related.
There's a quotation from Alexander McKee. It's written on a stone out here. You can read that. That substantiates the story that of Bill Barefoot, who was he was also a medicine man, and he used to go wherever he was needed. He would, if somebody was sick in Muncie or London, he'd pack up his shkeke and his medicines, and he would go up there and help that person, regardless of the expense or whatever. It was his duty to do that. He did that. He was a conscientious person and would look after the rights and the health of the people.
We too have a responsibility to look after our medicines. Unfortunately, many of us have lost touch with how to work with our medicines. But everything on Mother Earth, whether we understand it or not, has a purpose. At the very least, it reaches out to get our attention in ways that it knows how. And when we pay attention to them, lessons on how to take better care and live in balance can and will be learned. It just takes spending time to listen and to go where we are needed.
Anyway, he had cured, I think, about 5 cancer patients that had given up with the doctors and the hospitals. This one fellow, he told me he had a tumor back of his eyeball. Really pain, huh? Pain.
Right.
Seen a doctor, it was cancer. It ended up that he found out that John was working on cancer patients. So he hadn't seen him. Started taking our herbal medicine, and I think it took him about 4 months. And the pain went away, everything's gone. Went back to the doctor, went through exams again. No cancer. He cured them. That was just a one patient, and he cured, I think, 4 or 5 of them after or before this happened. Calls me up, he says, Erik, I could have been a millionaire. He says, these people offer me, one fellow offered $50,000, another $80,000, $30,000 on people offering money. He said, no, I can't do that.
Right.
He said, the medicine is put here on earth for people to use, and it'll cure all kinds of sickness that's here. And it's here on earth. Mother Earth puts that on earth for us to cure. He said, I can't sell that stuff.
Medicine from Mother Earth that can be used to maintain our health and well-being is not meant to be commodified. That misses out on the purpose and intent of our medicines, as there should never be a price tag on health and well-being. But, partly due to abuse and negligence, some of our medicines are becoming more rare to come across. We must always remember that there are protocols that we need to follow when using medicines, as this facilitates our balance with Mother Earth.
We go through our thing, we put our tobacco. I don't know, most of the reserves do that. Put your tobacco wherever you get your medicine on. Put your tobacco down there. And then you get your tobacco, your medicine. You do that.
By putting down our tobacco, we are honoring the relationship that we have with that medicine, saying, thank you for your help. Thank you for helping keep us well. We are not the only ones who use those same medicines, as other beings, like insects, also have a relationship with those medicines. They honor their relationship with the medicines just as we should. Without honoring that relationship, we may find that over time, those same medicines will not be as available as they once were.
And I think that's where we lost a lot of our, like I mentioned, bullfrogs and frogs at that time, leopard frogs. After they left, I think the frogs left too. There was a whippoorwill. One time there was one bird, whippoorwill. There was a lot of those on the island. And as soon as the horses were gone, the birds were gone. So what they had between them, I don't know. Maybe it was droppings or something had to do with that, fertilizer. But anyway, we lost a whippoorwill.
Better understanding our relationship and role with the land is a means to know how it is that we can live in balance. Traditional knowledge systems in Indigenous communities are rooted in beliefs and values that promote a symbiotic lifestyle and culture, and as such, need to be understood and practiced. But our counterparts who we share space with on the land also have a relationship with the land, one that is better intertwined, as ours once was, before societies became preoccupied with control and consumption. Though, there are some community members who still live their lives traditionally in balance with the land, but currently they are few and far between.
Like we were talking here, I think there's only about 4 people that has trap lines, does that anymore. Not only that, but a lot of people go out and work now for their money instead of the hard way or the easy way, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, they're not as plentiful now because of the Phragmites.
Yeah, it's another thing, the Phragmites taking over the marshes, choking up all the waterways. The Phragmite is getting so thick even the fish can't even swim through them to go into spawn different areas on the south end of the island here. So that's getting rid of that.
A push towards modernity in our society, in combination with diminishing land resources, has led many community members away from traditional practices to sustain livelihood, and instead towards development-oriented consumerism. This has led to a disconnect between people and the land, as well as in diminishing traditional knowledge, in practice and transference to the next generation. Thus, it is important that we, as people of all nations, take the time to sit with elders and traditional knowledge keepers to learn land-based teachings, without which, truly, we will not have an understanding of where it is that we come from, where it is that we're going, and how we can live on the land that our ancestors took care of long before we were here.
We used to make baskets, huh? It's made out of black ash. And the basket makers on the island here just sort of died out. What happened to the black ash? Emerald ash borer come in, took over on the ash trees, huh? Why? Because the Snobet people don't use that no more. That is taken away. The elm bark was used to make longhouses, any kind of small huts, camping. Elm bark, you could, and we had big elm, you could cut it this way and that way, and you could peel that off. They use that for longhouses. What happened to the elm tree? The elm died out. What do you call that?
Dutch elm disease.
Dutch elm disease. Because we gave up. We went to plywood and all that, fiberglass. So that was taken away from us, the elm tree. We don't use the elm bark, huh? We use fiberglass now. Plywood, basket weaving, no more baskets. Baskets are made in China now. You go to any store, what do you see? Made in China. That's all comes from over there. Because it's not that people quit making baskets. That's taken away. Black elm, birch bark. And I keep warning our people. I says, don't give up on the medicine. I said, that's going to be taken away. What are the Snobet people? Drugstore. Go to the drugstore. Instead of using our own medicine, we go to the drugstore and we'll get medicine over there. Where we should be using medicine that's here already given to us. So that's, keep warning them. Use your own medicine that's here. Mother Earth puts that here for us to use.
Sometimes, it's easy to lose track of what connects us, what grounds us, what keeps us here as people on Turtle Island. Our role and our relationship with the land that we live on is sacred. But somewhere along the way, we were separated from this way of thinking, of interconnectedness, of relationship, and of love. But we are fortunate that Mother Nature has a way of getting our attention and communicating with us as well. And for some of us, our eyes, ears, minds, and hearts are wide open. We are very fortunate to have people that have dedicated their lives to retaining, practicing, and sharing traditional knowledge. But if we do not make a point to listen and live a life that is in balance with the land that we live on, our futures as people living on Mother Earth may be short-lived. There is no way to put this lightly, as the very survival of our society and every following generation is at stake. So take the time, spend time out in the bush and learning with those knowledge keepers, because I'm almost sure of it, you'll be amazed at what you'll learn about yourself, your purpose, and your spirit.